Audio check 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, audio check.
Testing, testing, audio check.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel here for Season 14 on Project Cars 2, here on the PlayStation platform at Motive. We are here for the Clio Cup, which is this season back to its original slot of Tuesday nights. Obviously, when we started out at Motive many years ago, well, 3 years ago to be exact, the Clio Cup was traditionally on a Tuesday night. That was what it ran for the first year that we were here, and obviously in the last year we've been running it on a Monday night, but it's back now on a Tuesday night, which allows some of the guys to get a bit of practice time in on a Monday night, because this season we have actually decided, we've made the executive decision to bring back custom setups for the Clio Cup, which means that everybody needs to probably have a night to practice and fine-tune their setups, make sure that they're all good and all ready for the race night, which is the Tuesday night. And obviously they've been able to do that to their heart's content here. But despite the little changes in terms of the rules and regulations this season, with the open setups being enabled, it hasn't changed the pecking order so far. You've got our three-time champion, the man who has won the last 3 series here in the Clio Cup, Oni Mike. He was Mike Gaming, he's now called Oni Mike, but we're still going to call him Mike anyway. He is currently setting the pace here, just under 0.8 of a second ahead of Cobb. So Mike's still continuing to exert his dominance over this Clio Cup field. But I've seen in the practice sessions earlier on that Cobb and John Boy are definitely able to match him for outright pace. So we're definitely going to be seeing that gap come down over the course of this qualifying session. But this is the only time that we'll ever be seeing, or during this season, it'll be the only time that we ever see a qualifying session kick off the night, because for every other round this season, it will be only the second race of the night that will be a qualifying session. Races 1 and 3, traditionally the reverse grid. So race 1 is a reverse grid based on the championship standings, and then race 3 is a reverse grid based on the results from race 2. So essentially, race 2 is usually the only qualifying session, but obviously for the first round of the season, there's no other way to set the grid other than to do a qualifying session. You can't reverse the championship standings that don't exist. So that way, it's just a way of kind of getting the ball going, or getting the ball rolling, should I say. So yeah, this is the only qualifying session that you'll ever see kicking off a night here in the Clio Cup for Season 14. But Oni Mike looking in imperious form right now. Cobb just coming out of the pits. You've got John Boy, who's gone into 3rd place at the moment on this leaderboard. He's just coming into the final sector of the lap. Now, can he find a bit of time here and put himself at the top of the leaderboard, as he's just got the bomb hole and the final corner, Murray's, to negotiate? How is he going to be as he comes through this tricky section of the track, staying on the right hand side? You want to maximise your entry point here, coming into that final corner. Stay up the sausage curve on the inside. Bit of a lock up, slides around a little bit onto the grass. Do you lose time there coming out of the final corner? We're going to find out in a few moments time as he comes up towards the line. John Boy, currently P3 in this session, our champion from Season 10 in the Clio Cup, comes over the line, and it's not an improvement, so he stays in 3rd, 0.8 adrift of Mike at the moment. Now obviously this Snetterton 200 layout is quite familiar amongst most of the drivers, but we will actually be racing here 2 nights this week. We're racing here obviously tonight in the Clio Cup, and also the touring cars on Thursday will be racing around this track. We were originally hoping to be running the Snetterton 100 layout for the Clios, but we had to make an adjustment to that, seeing as we, basically a sort of a last minute realisation that it doesn't actually have a pit lane, the 100 layout, so we had to switch it up to the 200. So we're going to be running 200 layout on both series this week. So it's going to be pretty much, this is going to be where your eyes are going to be set for this week's action here on Project Cars 2 here at Motive. But we're watching Jay at the moment coming through the final sector, but he's half a second down on his personal best coming through the middle sector, so I don't think we're going to be seeing any improvements from him just at the moment. What about John Boy? What sort of lap is he on as he's coming through into the bomb hole now, and he's just got the final left-hander to go, and it will be another lap complete there for him. He'll get one more lap in after this one that he's currently on as well. So here he comes out of the last corner up towards the start finish line. Does he get a bit of slipstream here off of the car in front? I don't think he's quite close enough here to really get a slipstream, but up towards the line he comes. John Boy comes over and he stays in 3rd place, and he's very consistently lapping the same sort of lap times. He's consistently about 0.8 of a second off of the pace of Mike. So Mike is currently blazing a trail here tonight in this first qualifying session as he bins it there. Looked like that was deliberate there from Mike, as he seems to that seems to be his session. Well, he's carrying on. So yeah, bit of a strange situation there for him. Cobb brings it into the pits, so he's not going to improve here because he's not going to get another lap in. He hasn't got time to do so. So that's going to be his session over with then. So John Boy's really got to make it work and make it work now, because he's got this lap and another lap afterwards. So this isn't the be all end all. He will get another shot after this lap that he's currently on as he comes down to the end of the straight, and through Brundle and Nelson he comes. We'll be seeing the split times pop up on the screen in a moment's time, and that will tell us what sort of lap he's on, or has he already been through the checkpoint? Maybe he has, as he has actually got somebody just in front of him there. As John Boy's 1,000th of a second down on his personal best, so not improving currently as it stands. He needs to be taking big chunks out of his previous best time if he is to get anywhere near Mike at the top of this leaderboard. Mike's in the pit, so he's not going to improve, so it's all about whether John Boy can find 0.8 of a second, but that's going to be probably quite a tall ask here. But John Boy nonetheless up towards the line. What is it going to be for him? Currently P3, and he stays in P3, so no improvement there, but he will get one more lap in, so he starts his final lap of the session. You've got Jay out there right now going through Montreal, through the hairpin, bit of a lock up there as he comes through the corner, is in the foreground, and just in front of him you can see somebody getting it horribly wrong there over the curb. Not used to the liveries just at the moment. It was Nick Lavilla who we saw getting it wrong in front of Jay. Nick Lavilla giving Jay a bit of a tow here coming down the Bentley straight. And Jay, you can see they're picking up a nice little bit of overspeed here as he pulls out now. You can see looking to the outside into Brundle, and this is going to really compromise Jay as Nick goes straight on there, go through Brundle, and that's going to be his lap time pretty much done as he absolutely keeps it floored there going through the corner. Jay goes wide on the exit of Nelson as in the background there somebody got it all two wheels there coming out of Nelson. What about Ollie? Ollie's got a flying lap right now. He's just behind one of the others. The Mutts Nuts is just a little bit ahead of these guys. There is Ollie. He's 7/10 down on his personal best though. What about the Mutts Nuts? What can he do? What can John Boy do as well? Because John Boy could maybe put it on the front row here alongside Mike. The Mutts Nuts has pulled out of his lap, so that's going to be his session done. What about John Boy as he's coming up towards the line? He's currently third place. Can he get on the front row alongside Oni Mike and get himself ahead of Cobb? Here he comes up towards the line. Our season 10 champion. What is it going to be for him? He doesn't improve. Stays in third place. Looks like that's the session done then. Did Ollie improve at the end of that session? No, he didn't. Stayed in P10. So that is that for the qualifying session. I'm just going to quickly be back in a moment, guys. Just going to quickly see what this call's about, and then we'll be back on in a sec. So it won't be a moment. Hello. I've got like a minute maybe. Yeah. Right. Okay. The best thing is send me a text message, yeah, and then I can just refer to it. Yeah. Definitely text. Yeah, definitely text. Definitely text. Yeah. Definitely better. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. 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 Yeah, definitely. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, all right, sorry. Yeah, sorry, mate. I got to commentate. All right, see you. Right, see you. Here we are, guys. Welcome back to the Motive Racing channel for the first race of Season 14 here in the Clio Cup on Project Cars 2. We've got 15 drivers on the grid getting ready to take the lights here at Snetterton for the opening round of this season. This week's going to be a bit of a Snetterton fest here on Project Cars 2. We've got the Snetterton 200 in both the Clio Cup and Touring cars this week. But here we are then for the first time in a very long time. We've got custom setups here for the Clio Cup. So that means that the drivers will be able to change anything that they like on the cars, be able to tune them to their heart's content and make sure that they are absolutely souped up as much as they can possibly be. So assault on these 8 rounds of this British series. Obviously it's an all British tracks for this season. Alongside the touring cars, so obviously you've got the BTCC and you've got the Clio Cup running in unison. Same venues every week, but different tracks. As the lights coming on out at the head of the grid, we're about to go racing here for race 1 of the season. And Ollie Mike, I think he jumped the start there. I reckon he went a little bit before the lights went out. I think he might have anticipated it, and I don't think he would have gone away with that one. That seems to be quite a big jump there from him. But Cobb and Jay side by side coming into turn 1, and Jay tries to get around the outside as Cobb gives him the space, and Jay gets the move done there. John Boy there running in 4th place as we see an advertising hoarding going flying there in the background. Somebody went wide onto the grass. It might have been Nick the Villa, but Ollie Mike leading here, coming through the first few corners, but I think he might have a drive through because he seemed to jump the start from my perspective anyway. As looking down the order right now, I saw somebody go a bit wide coming out of that section. That was Cobb who got onto the grass, but he managed to keep the momentum here around the outside of John Boy. These two are side by side coming down the Bentley straight towards Brundle, as it's going to be very close here. Also, we've got 3 wide in the background between Iceman Amos Kill and Aussie Albie, but John Boy keeping ahead of Cobb. Cobb losing out a few places. Oh, as we can see there, Amos Kill there having a bit of contact there with Iceman, Aussie Albie, and a sandwich there. Oh, that was close there between Aussie Albie and not Amos Kill. Cobb. Cobb is down to 7th, and he's got spun around as well, so Cobb now facing the wrong way here, and Cobb in big trouble. Iceman onto the grass, losing loads of places as well, so Iceman and Cobb having a collision here on the opening lap. As we're looking further down the order, Nick Livilla's down in 14th place. He's had a nightmare of a first lap to this race. Gary's picked up a couple of places here up into 12th ahead of Par Pooper Rex, as he now picks off Iceman there on the exit of the final corner, but it's Mike leading ahead of John Boy by just over a second as we complete lap 1. Into turn 1 we go. There is John Boy ahead of Jay. There's Ollie who's into 4th place with all the carnage going on in front of him. He's made up positions here in the first lap of this race, but there they all are coming through turn 1 here at the end of or start of lap 2, and Mike currently has the position right now, is your race leader at this stage. We see a bit of side by side here between Amos Kill and Aussie, as Amos Kill wide onto the grass, loses out there to the Mutts Nuts, who squeezes through ahead of Aussie Albie. So the Mutts Nuts there up into P5, manages to gain positions due to those two having a bit of a collision in front of him. So Mutts Nuts will be definitely very happy about that one, but John Boy's managed to call the gap down a little bit to Mike at the front. The gap's under a second between those two. You can see there Jay running in 3rd place, Ollie there running all by himself in 4th, best of the rest at the moment with this train of cars behind him. You've got the Mutts Nuts, Aussie, Amos Kill, and then Doris Deer, Smokey and Charlie Goff all packed into a short space here. 6 drivers here running in a train, as we see Smokey onto the grass a little bit there as he came out of Nelson. Holds it together though, didn't lose any places, didn't really lose any time either, to be honest with you. But we're coming to the final corner, as we can see the Mutts Nuts goes a little bit wide there onto the grass, as Aussie will be trying to capitalise. As Amos Kill's got a great run here on Aussie Albie as well, but he's got nowhere to go because the Mutts Nuts is right there in front of him. He's still looking to the inside though, and I tell you what, Amos Kill's going to go for the gap, and we are going to be 3 wide here coming down the start finish straight. Amos Kill on the inside, does the Mutts Nuts see him? He's going to be the meat in the sandwich. Mutts Nuts going to be careful here as he almost turns in on Amos Kill, as Aussie goes wide onto the grass. Amos Kill's going to move into the position there. Aussie Albie is in another postcode there coming out of turn 1. Amos Kill up into 5th place. The Mutts Nuts has got Smokey all over the back of him there, as we can see a crash there coming into turn 2. Oh, what has gone on there? Doris Steer there going steaming up the inside, and he's managed to get caught up there with Par Pooper as well. The Mutts Nuts managing to actually get through that unscathed, but Par Pooper there losing out. Cobb is down to 13th place, so Cobb involved in that as well. And Cobb was already down a few places, but Smokey down in 14th place, Aussie Albie in 15th, so that's gone horribly wrong there for them. But John Boy's currently on the back of Mike here as we're coming to the final few corners here at lap 3. You can see Jay just over a second off of the lead at the moment, but John Boy showing he's got the pace to live with Mike. Mike obviously took a resounding pole position in qualifying, but in the race it seems like John Boy and Jay have got the pace to keep up with him at the moment. There's Ollie running in 4th place. He's just a little bit off of the leader's pace right now. Amaskill, likewise, with Charlie Goff a couple of seconds behind him. And then you've got a big train of cars. Iceman, Gary, the Mutsnuts, Nick DeVilla running all in a short space here. You've got Doris Steer ahead of Part Pooper and Cobb. And then there's Smokey Devil and Aussie running at the back there in P15. But John Boy is absolutely hassling the back of Mike here as they're coming down towards turn 2. Is he going to look to send one here coming into Montreal? He's a little bit too far back to make anything happen just there. Thinks better of it. Waiting for his opportunities here. But it's been quite a hectic, chaotic start to this race here for the Clio Cup season for season 14. Currently, these 3 leaders, Mike, John Boy and Jay, are putting away from the rest of the pack here. You've got Ollie there running in 4th place ahead of Amaskill. Charlie Goff there has got the train of cars. Iceman, the Mutsnuts, Gary and Nick kind of reeling him in a little bit now. And then you've got Doris Steer running ahead of Cobb, Cobb and Part Pooper. As Aussie is into the pits here at the end of lap 3, so he's fixing some damage there, I presume. He looks like he's had a bit of a hefty whack there on the front of the car. But yeah, absolute drama here at the start. We got Robert Orlonsky there, Roby there in the comments saying back at it again. Absolutely, Roby. Check says Tinsel indeed. Emma there saying good luck guys, have a great season. Emma, the other half of Aussie Albie, she'll be absolutely gutted to see how tonight's begun there for our Aussie. But obviously there's still a long way to go in this season, but not the start that he would have wanted to his season at all. We've got Totally Zero K there saying yo, new season, new drama. Indeed, Totally Zero K. It's been absolutely fantastic so far in the first 4 laps of this season. Ollie Mike still leading ahead of Jay and John Boy, and these guys continuing to gap Ollie, who's running in a very creditable 4th place right now with everybody else tripping over each other. And you've got the Mutsnuts here looking to the inside of Iceman into turn 1. Is he going to make the move? I think he's going to have that one done as Iceman there gives him the space, and the Mutsnuts have a beautiful move there up into 7th place. Gary just behind these guys running in 9th place, and then Nick DeVilla not too far off the back of him as well, but the gap between 6th and 10th not much, and then they've got a bit of a gap back to Doris Steer, who's got Cobb up his inside into turn 2, but he goes deep there, does Cobb. Doris should be able to get the cut back here, although Cobb manages to complete the move there through the next part of the S's, and Cobb there does actually complete it up into 11th place. Doris there down to 12th with Part Pooper on the back of him right now. But it's all go here in the early stages of this first race of the season here in the Clio Cup. The battle's still raging on here between Charlie the Mutsnuts and Iceman. You've got Gary there and Nick DeVilla just behind them. Gap at the front between Ollie Mike and John Boy's just crept almost up to a second, and then it just dips under again. It's ebbing and flowing right now between these guys. Jay's keeping them in sight, but he does seem to have just dropped off at the pace a little bit over the course of the last couple of the laps. But it's Mike, John Boy, Jay, your top 3. There's Ollie still going in 4th place right now. Let's go back to this battle here for P6 though, because Charlie's still running just ahead of the Mutsnuts and Iceman at this point. As you can see there, the Mutsnuts here getting a much better run than Charlie, but the Mutsnuts is potentially could be getting outdragged by Iceman. So Iceman's looking to the outside here, coming down the start finish straight. Who's going to be backing out of this one? Is either of them going to be backing out? As he's looking around the outside here is Iceman. The Mutsnuts looking down the inside of Charlie though. Charlie leaving the space there on the inside. Is anybody going to go for a dive bomb here coming into Montreal? They're all going to be thinking about it, but it's about who can keep self-control here. As we can see there, it's still Charlie keeping ahead of these two right now. There's Gary running in 9th place at this point. But some great racing here at the opening few laps, mostly clean apart from the first lap, which seemed a bit chaotic, but since then things have really settled down. As you can see now, Iceman looking to the outside here of the Mutsnuts, and also Charlie as well. Charlie there in the middle of these guys as the Mutsnuts goes a little bit deep on the brakes into Brundle, but he gets it stopped beautifully actually there. Notices the Mutsnuts moves ahead of them as Iceman straight on there over the grass and might lose out here I think to potentially Gary even. Well, Gary no, tucks back in, so Iceman staying ahead of Gary but losing out to the Mutsnuts and Charlie Goff just there then. But yeah, plenty going on here in the early stages for the Clio Cup here at Snetterton tonight. Currently Gary trying to get onto the back of Iceman here. Can he get a bit of a run? Oh, he gets a bit of a tap there. Does Iceman from Gary, and Gary helps him round. And Gary there, is he going to wait for Iceman to get going again? He continues on his way for the time being. So, well, he kind of has waited for him, but he's not really driven off. He's kind of waited for him, but not let him pass. So, I don't know, could be a bit of a contentious one, that one. But the Mutsnuts and Charlie Goff now left to battle over P6 between them without the added pressure of Gary and Iceman. Cobb in the meantime has got ahead of Part Pooper into turn 1, so that's another position gained there for Cobb after his woes on the opening lap, which dropped him well down the order. But he's continuing to pick off drivers here over the course of this first race. Where can he get to in this one? It's going to be interesting to see. Can he get onto the back of maybe Iceman or Gary, potentially Charlie, who's 7 seconds up the road? That would be quite a tall order here for Cobb. I reckon maybe 9th and 8th or or 9th could be the summit of his ambitions here in this first race. But the battle for the lead continuing to rage on right now between Ollie, Mike and John Boy as they're coming through the final few corners here of lap 7. They're 3 seconds clear of Jay, who seems to have dropped off the pace a little bit over the last couple of laps. You've got Ollie still running in 4th place. He's 3 seconds clear of Amos Kill. And then he's well clear of the battle for P5, or P6 should I say, which is still going on here between the Mutts Nuts and Charlie Goff. But John Boy, I tell you what, he's closer to the back of Ollie Mike than he's ever been over the course of this race, as Mike defends the inside line coming down towards turn 1. John Boy looking to the outside. Is he going to try and go around the outside, or is he going to go for a cutback? He's going to try all the way around the outside, and John Boy, has he got the grip around the outside? He has done, and what a move there from John Boy. I'll tell you what, that was a world-class overtake there from him. Bravery off the scales there, had the confidence in his car to keep it pinned around the outside, was inches away from the grass. But John Boy, your new race leader here at Snetterton, and Mike now tucks back into the slipstream, looking to try and get a bit of a run here, coming down the Bentley straight. We've got Robe in the comments there saying, what a move. I've got to agree with you, Robe. That was absolutely superb stuff there from him, as Mike almost pushing John Boy here down the Bentley straight. He doesn't want to go for a move. He wants to just tuck in and put him under pressure if he can. Looking to the outside into Brundle, and Mike Gaming here could be about to put a move on John Boy, but John Boy gets the cut back there coming out of Nelson and holds on to the lead just about. Mike there almost doing a fantastic move on John Boy there. These two having a great little scrap out the front, but whilst they're battling, Jay has already gained nearly a second on them over the course of this lap. So Jay made a mistake obviously earlier on, dropped him off at the front too by quite a bit, but with these two battling, it could give him a bit of a lifeline here to bring himself back into this battle for the lead. But John Boy and Mike still battling here as they're coming out of the final corner, and they're about to complete lap 8 of the race. Great stuff from these guys out the front. You've got the Mutts Nuts and Charlie still battling right now over P6 and 7. Iceman and Gary still going at it over 8th and 9th. You can see there just under a second between those two at the moment. The rest of them kind of all strung out at this point, but we're going to stick with this battle here for the lead of the race, because John Boy has seized the initiative here in the first half of this race, and he's now just got to see this out for the next 7 laps here for this first race of the Clio Cup season 14 here at Motive. As you can see them coming down the Bentley straight, John Boy here has a slender advantage, but Mike is going to keep on to him for the duration of this one. You can be absolutely sure of that. Excellent stuff here tonight at Snetterton for this opening round of the season. You can see here Ollie Mike is still trying to put the pressure on John Boy, trying to get back what he feels will be right for. I'm sure he'll be feeling is rightfully his at this point. You've got Totally Zero K saying it's getting hot here. It definitely is. Totally Zero K. These guys have actually pulled out a bit of a gap to Jay over the course of this lap, so they've now got their heads down. They know that they've got the potential threat of our season of our season 10 touring car champion, our season 10 Clio Cup runner-up as well. So he's got the credentials in this league. Didn't have a great season in season 11, then took season 12 and season 13 off for the Clio Cup, so he's making his return to the Clios for this season. But yeah, he's currently 4 seconds off for the lead right now. But John Boy and Mike still out the front, 0.2 of a second between them as they're coming into turn 2. Are you alright? Why are you saying that? What's wrong? What are you on about? Right, okay. Anyway, John Boy and Mike still running 0.3 apart as they're coming down towards the end of the Bentley straight. You can see that Mike getting closer and closer as they come into the braking zone, but still has to tuck in for the time being. You can see that in the foreground you've got Nick the Villa, who's just coming into the final part of the lap. He's obviously 2 laps down. He had to fix damage earlier on, so he's not in a great position in this race. But John Boy and Mike here running 1/10 of a second apart as they're coming through.
John Boy got one of those
Anyway, so here they come out onto the start finish. You can see that Nick the Villa moving well out of the way onto the grass. So he's letting the 2 leaders go past. They are now 4.5 seconds clear of Jay. Oh, is Ollie very wide there onto the grass, getting it horribly wrong out of the final corner. He's got Amos Kill still hunting him down there in 5th place. There's the Mutts Nuts. But you've got Iceman, who's a couple of seconds clear of Cobb. And there's Gary on the back of Cobb. You can see there just within a second of him, but obviously Cobb has made the move on him by the looks of it. So in fact Cobb still continues to pick off drivers, and I said earlier on, actually I did say I reckon 8th place could be the summit of his expectations here in this one. So Cobb now hunting down Iceman, and that's going to be his target here surely for this race, as John Boy and Mike very, very close. Mike is bearing down on John Boy as they come down towards Brundle, but just a little bit too far back to send one. You don't really want to send one into there anyway unless you're pretty much ahead, because it's a real risk. You're kind of like turning and braking at the same time. You can end up sideways quite easily if you go off of the ideal racing line, even a metre off of the ideal racing line, and you could be in trouble. So overtaking through there is almost a no-go, I would say. But these two coming into the final corner once again. Can Mike get a good run here coming out of the final corner? If he can, he might have a chance coming down the start-finish straight. But John Boy's still got the upper hand at this point. There's Jay running in 3rd place. He's got a further 4 seconds back to Ollie, who's got Amos Kill definitely gaining on him here. You can see just over a second currently separating those two in 4th and 5th places. There's the Nuts running in P6. He's 4 seconds behind Amos Kill. You've got Charlie Goff there running 3 seconds up for the back of the Nuts. There's Iceman, who's got Cobb now really close on him. So Cobb knocking on the door of a P8 here in this one. Can he gain another place here? What a great job that'd be if he can indeed do that. But John Boy's still just ahead of Mike here as they're coming into Brundle here for the 12th time in this race. We've got just over 3 laps left to go here at Snetterton. Oh, it's Ollie there really, really wiping the curve out there coming through Brundle, and that's going to give Amos Kill a little bit more incentive. I think you can see that Ollie's getting larger in his sights now, as John Boy still leads the race ahead of Mike. You've only got 0.3 of a second between them. They both seem to get a good exit there coming out of the final corner. We're about to start lap 13. 3 laps left to go here for the first race of the season here at Motive for the Clio Cup. You've got Jay still running in 3rd place. Ollie still just ahead of Amos Kill at the moment, with the Nuts who's got a few seconds back to Charlie Goff, who's got a few further seconds back to Iceman and Cobb. Gary's still on the back of these guys as well, knocking on the door of an 8th place potentially. This is a 3-man battle here as Iceman goes wide there coming out of the final corner. Can Cobb get a run here? Can he take it to the slipstream here and use that toe to his advantage? Is he going to pull out here coming halfway down the straight? I think he's going to pull out now. There we go. But has he got enough of a run here to get around the outside into turn 1? Iceman defending the inside line. Cobb is going to be trying to go all the way around the outside of turn 1, and is he going to be able to do it? He goes a little bit late on the brakes. Iceman there keeping himself pinned on the inside. Iceman should have the inside here for Montreal and should be able to hold on to the position. In the meantime, you've got Gary looking down the inside as well, but he's got nowhere to go as Cobb holding it around the outside there and doing a great job there of keeping ahead of Gary. But Iceman holding on to 8th place for the time being, ahead of both of these two. Bats at the front still raging on between John Boy and Mike as they're coming through in towards the final corner. They're about to start the penultimate lap of the race. You've got Smokey Devil there just coming over the line to start lap 13. Nearly a lap down on these guys. But here we come, up towards the line once again between these two. Nothing at all separating them. They're just under 7 seconds clear of Jay running in 3rd place. Ollie has got heavy pressure here from Amos Kill as they're coming up towards the line to start lap 14. You've got a few seconds back to the Nuts there, who's got 4 seconds further back to Charlie Goff. Gary there running in 8th place, who's got Iceman and Cobb, but Cobb has actually lost out to Iceman again. So he was well, in fact no, I think Iceman and Cobb must have made a mistake. They must have had a collision here, because they're now 4 seconds behind Gary in 8th place. As who's coming into the pits? Who's that? That's Nick. So Nick's coming in for an impromptu pit stop here at the end of lap 11 for him. But obviously we're on lap 14 in terms of the actual race. But John Boy and Mike here side by side, coming into Brundle. Mike looking around the outside, can he get it done? John Boy holding his ground. Mike's got the inside here for Nelson. I tell you what, he's just pulled off an absolutely textbook manoeuvre there. But John Boy getting a better run here as they come through the bomb hole now. Ollie Mike has taken the lead back off of John Boy, and John Boy's going to have to really get his elbows out and fight hard in this final lap of the race. If he is to take this win, he's had the lead for a lot of this race, but he's now been denied of P1 here as they're about to start the final lap of the race. but he's still right on the back of Mike here as we're coming up towards the line here. So here we are. This is it for all the marbles here in the first race of the night, the first race of the season here for the Clio Cup. It is Mike who has a slender advantage now over John Boy. John Boy with a slipstream here. He's going to look to the inside into turn one, but thinks better of it. Just a little feint there for John Boy. Just trying to put Mike off ever so slightly, trying to make him, I think, just think twice maybe, just question what he's doing. But Mike here for the time being staying ahead of John Boy as we come into turn two. But these guys putting on an absolutely fantastic show here out the front. We've lost Doris Steer from this first race of the night. He seems to have disconnected from the lobby. What a shame there to see that, as he wasn't in a terrible position. He was, I think he was a P11, P10 and P11. So yeah, wouldn't have been a bad first appearance in the Clios for him. But nonetheless, we hope to see him back in for the second race. But here come Mike and John Boy through the final few corners. Can John Boy do anything here with Mike in the final part of the lap and maybe force him into a mistake? I think it's unlikely here. Mike has driven a brilliant race, to be fair, played a patient game on the back of John Boy and then made the move just as they were coming through this section of the lap on the previous lap, just before we started the final lap of the race. He seems to have taken this one at the death here over John Boy as we come through the final corner here to finish the first race of the night, and it's going to be Mike who's going to be taking the first win of the season, our three-time champion. A flash of lights there from him. John Boy returning the gesture there. It's a 1 and 2 there for the old rivals. Mike taking the win ahead of John Boy. Jay is going to come over to complete the podium there in third place. A good reappearance drive here for him in the Clio Cup. Good to see him back in the Clios. We've got Ollie coming over to take P4 in the end, ahead of Amos Kill, who comes over to take 5th. The Mustnuts is going to come over to take P6 in the end, with Charlie Goff, who's going to finish in this one in P7. And then it's going to be Gary who's going to come round to take 8th place here in this one in the end. He's just a couple of seconds clear of Cobb, who's going to take 9th place here in this one. Iceman, oh, Iceman, I was actually putting a lap there on Aussie. Iceman at P10, Parker with P11. Aussie's finished the race in 13th place. Nick Levilla's done. He was out of the race by quite some way from the end. Smoky Devil will be the last driver to finish. He's coming through the bomb hole now, and it's going to be a P12 here for Smoky Devil. Robert there saying great race there in the comments. He's enjoyed what he's seen here to start off the season. But a Smoky Devil coming out of the last corner is going to finish the first race in P12. But Mike taking your first victory of this season. What a job there from Mike and John Boy. What a show they put on there out the front. Jay doing a great job there to take third place on his first appearance in the Clios since, I think, must be since about October. So yeah, great job from him. Has Smokey finished? Yeah, Smokey has crossed the line. Oh, it's because Nick hasn't crossed the line yet, so he's obviously not finished yet. But that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for the first race of the Clio Cup season here for season 14. Mike taking the victory there ahead of John Boy, who finishes in second place. Jay completing the podium. We'll be back in a few minutes, guys, for the second qualifying session. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very shortly indeed. 1 till 6. Excellent.
Fantastic show here at the front. We've lost Thomas Deere from his first race of the way. He seems to have disconnected from the line. What a shame there to see that as he wasn't in a terrible position. He was, I think he was on P11, P10 or P11. So yeah, we're not going to bet first appearance in the P11 for him. But that's where to see him back in for the second race. But here comes Mike and John Way through. I think always can John Way do anything here with Mike in the final part and maybe force him into a mistake. I think he's unlikely here. Mike has driven a brilliant race to be fair. Played a patient game on back of John Way and then made the move just going through this section on the previous lap just before we started the final lap of the race. He seems to have taken this one at the death here. John Way has come through here to finish the first race of the night, and it's going to be Mike who's going to be taking the first win of the season. The three-time champion.
Why you playing on Snetterton Bucking Mama?
Turning the gesture there. He's a 1 and 2 left here.
No.
It was Mike taking it.
I just don't know why you did it.
Why have you put your butty marmite on?
What?
Why have you put this on?
Why not? Because you're doing my washing.
I'm washing your dressing gown.
Well, no, that's why I'm wearing it. That's why I'm wearing it.
Don't you like butty marmite? Butty marmite. Butty marmite to you. Don't put it in the pig. Butty marmite.
Stop it. This is just weird. Weird. Why are you screaming butty mama? It's just a bit weird.
Because it's butty marmite.
What? Right, no, I need to start commentating again.
I commentate on butty marmite.
No, you can't. Oh shit, can they hear us?
Eh?
Right, no, we're turning back on, alright? Just please do not shout it again. Don't do it.
Please do not shout it again.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Motive channel. We're here for race 2 of the Clio Cup tonight.
Butty marmite.
And so I'm just getting a delayed message there coming through on the PlayStation. But yeah, no, here we are for the second qualifying session of the night. It would usually only be the first, it would be the only qualifying session usually, but obviously with the fact that it's the first round of the season, we can't do a reverse grid based on championship standings that don't exist. So this is the second qualifying session of the night. We currently got Ollie Mike set atop of the leaderboard there, just under a tenth of a second ahead of John Boy, who sits in second place. Ollie Marr doing a really good job here in this second qualifying session. He's in third place right now. He's only 2/10 of a second off of the fastest time, so really good showing here from Ollie in this session so far. Iceman sits fourth, 6/10 of a second off of the fastest time there. In fourth place, you've got Cobb there, who's in the pits, so he's not going to be improving in there.
He's in the pits.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be improving whilst in there. But we got Jay coming up towards the line. What can Jay do? Is he's got a bit of slipstream here off the car in front. He's not able to improve just at the moment though. But yeah, you've got Mike still doing the fastest time here in this session. John Boy is in second place as that was just a driver there going a bit wide coming out of turn one. But Ollie nonetheless is in the slipstream here as somebody in front of him as he doesn't manage to make the most of it, and is still 2 seconds off of his personal best on that particular lap. But seven of you currently watching the stream at the moment, guys, if you're enjoying, please do smash the like button as it helps us out an enormous amount. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Motive Racing channel as well. If you're interested in getting involved in the action, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. But 15 drivers currently out on the track here for the Clio Cup tonight. Great turnout for the first race, for the first round of the season. And yeah, currently Mike Gaming, or Ollie Mike as he's known nowadays, still setting the pace, but John Boy only 6/600ths of a second off of his fastest time. So that means that he will, if he finds 700ths of a second, he will actually become the driver who's got the fastest time in this session.
No.
Yeah. So here he comes up towards the line, and let's see what John Boy can put on the board here. He's just a little bit too far back to get the slipstream here off of Aussie Albie. Let's see if he's able to get a faster time nonetheless. No, he's not. He's 2/10 adrift of Ollie Mike on that particular lap just there. Let's see what Ollie can do. As he gets a bit of a slide there coming out of the final corner, and this season he's currently 2/10 of a second off the fastest time. So if he finds 2/10, he'll be the new provisional pole sitter. But here he comes. And he comes over the line. He's 7/10 off of his fastest time, which puts him 9/10 off for the fastest time overall. But he's already done a time good enough for third place, so obviously he's all right. He doesn't need to worry too much. But Mike is still setting the fastest time right now. He gets a bit of a slide there coming through turn one. Oh, as he gets onto the grass there. Oh dear, Mike there really living dangerously, and I think he's just squandered his opportunity to improve his that time there. So. He's got to hope and pray that John Boy doesn't find the 700ths of a second that he needs. And John Boy, I tell you what, he's over a 10th of a second up here on his fastest time, so it could potentially be provisional pole position going here for Mike Gaming. So here he comes, John Boy, bit onto the grass there, living dangerously as he comes into the final corner, but managed to keep his momentum. Here he comes out onto the start finish straight and up towards the line as we see there in the background Aussie Albie, John Boy's teammate, going ever so wide. But John Boy up towards the line. Can he do the pole time here? He does do the pole time by 4,000ths of a second. John Boy there to the top of the leaderboard. Great lap there from him. He got over the line just in time to do another lap as well there. So he will get to do another lap after this, but it might only be rubbing salt in the wounds because potentially nobody else is going to do a faster time than him. Jay is in 4th place at the moment. Gary over the line stays in P7. Amos Kill comes over, stays in 9th. No improvements there. The Mutsnuts brings it into the pits. Park Poop is done for the session. Charlie Goff here coming through the bomb hole. He's just under 4/10 of a second up. The bomb hole. It was bombed in World War II, so there's a big crater. Charlie Goff here coming into the final corner here. At Snetterton, can he do a faster time than what he's already done? He's currently sat in 12th place at the moment as he's coming up towards the line. What is it going to be here for Charlie Goff as he comes over the line now? And he goes up into 11th place there. So nice little up there from Charlie Goff right at the death of the session to move himself ahead of Park Pooper Rex. What about Smoky Devil? Oh, Doris Deer coming over the line. He stays in 15th place, doesn't improve.
Devil.
He is the Smoky Devil. Aussie Albie up towards the line. Can he improve on 8th place in this session? No, he can't. So that's that for the second qualifying session here at Motive for the Clio Cup. So it is John Boy there taking pole position there by 4 thousandths of a second ahead of Mike Gaming, so a very close leaderboard there. Ollie Moore in third, 0.2 of a second behind. But guys, it's going to be an absolute cracker of a second race of the night. Make sure you hit the like button and show your appreciation for the drivers out on track. What a show these guys are putting on here so far, and hopefully it will continue throughout the course of this evening. Just going to double check my audio, make sure it's all good. Yep, audio sounds rather good, so we're in business. We got Totally Zero K in the comments there saying 4 thousandths of a second. Close racing coming, I think definitely. Well, we saw in the first race, Totally Zero, we saw that the battle between John Boy and Mike was incredibly close in the first race. We saw them chopping and changing positions. We neither of them really could make up their mind as to who was going to lead the race. They kind of just kept on changing positions, but yeah, it's going to be a great race here. I think a great season as well. I think with custom setups, it's maybe it's brought a few drivers into it. Jay obviously returning because he likes the custom setups for the Clios. Cobb as well likes the running setups on these cars. Ollie seems to be really picking it up here in these Clio Cup cars. Ollie's driving in his first league actually. His first league for a very long time. He hasn't raced permanently in a league since COVID in 2020, but he hasn't played the game also for about a year or so. So yeah, it's been a bit of a patchy sort of sim racing career for Ollie, but hopefully he can really dedicate himself to some regular racing here. What's wrong with you? Right. Okay then. But John Boy and Mike on the front row here for this second race of the night. You got Ollie Moore there running ahead, or rather sat in front of Jay on the second row. Aussie Albie and Iceman there on the third row, with Cobb and Gary in 7th and 8th. Amaskill, the Mutsnuts there in 9th and 10th places. Charlie Goff and Park Hooper in 11th and 12th, with Nick the Villa, Smokey Devil and Thorister running at the back for this second race. As here we go, this lights out and away we go. And John Boy there immediately covering off Mike. Mike didn't get a great bite as Ollie's looking to the outside of Mike already here, coming down towards turn 1. You got Jay there just ahead of Aussie Albie, but Ollie's got ahead of Mike here coming into turn 1 and moves himself through up into second place. So beautifully done there from Ollie Moore. But looking back further down the order right now, it looks like a pretty clean first corner at the moment. Everyone seems to have got through there very nicely and tidily indeed. John Boy leads ahead of Ollie, followed by Mike, as you've got almost side by side Aussie looking on the back of Jay as they come through the S's here. As we've got side by side also there, Amaskill has just lost out to Cobb, so Cobb moving through up into 8th place, and now Cobb looking to the outside here of the Mutsnuts as well, looking to try and gain a couple of places here in the first few corners. But Ollie Moore, I tell you what, he's going to go for a move here on John Boy. What a first lap here from Ollie in the second race. He's going to go for the lead coming into Brundle. Can he get it done here for Nelson? Ollie Moore takes the lead of the race here at Snetterton. What a great move there from him. He's absolutely flown off the blocks here in the second race of the night. It's Ollie from John Boy from Mike. Jay there in 4th ahead of Aussie Albie, as we see a bit of contact there between Iceman and the Mutsnuts. Oh, and Iceman there is into the wall. He's got damage there on the front of the car. The Mutsnuts seems to have got through that relatively unscathed, but he's lost a few places there to Amaskill, Charlie, Gary and Nick as well. But Iceman down to the back of the pack here on this opening lap. That's gone horribly wrong there for him. But Ollie's running in the lead of the race right now, just under 1/10 of a second here to John Boy, as John Boy's looking to the outside here, coming into turn 1. Can John Boy get around the outside here of Ollie? He's going to get that one done quite easily as well, to be fair. Swoops round up into the lead of the race. You've got Mike there looking to the inside now of Ollie coming into turn 2. Can he make this move, as he just has to think better of running into the back of John Boy right there, as Mike and Ollie are side by side here coming through the S's. But Ollie there just trying to get the momentum here. Mike trying to attack on the outside of him at the moment. And there is Jay with Cobb just behind him as well. But John Boy there taking back the lead. Ollie's got a bit of a run here coming down the Bentley straight, and I tell you what, Ollie's going to have the move here coming into Brundle once again. John Boy trying to hold it around the outside. Oh, he loses it there. John Boy onto the curb, and he's gone onto the cross, and John Boy there is going to be losing absolutely heaps of positions here as Ollie has to lead once again. Mike there into second place. Where has John Boy come out in all this? He's come out in 9th place. That's in the foreground there. You can see Charlie getting sideways there, coming through the bomb hole, and loses out to Ozzy and Gary. But John Boy down in 10th place after Binning it, coming through Brundle, went onto the curb going through Nelson, ended up on the grass. Ollie leads the race once again at the end of lap 2 ahead of Mike. You got Cobb there running in 3rd place, has had a great sort of passage through this pack here on the opening couple of laps. Amaskill there running in 4th place ahead of Jay, so Amaskill's made the move on Jay there, didn't see where that happened. John Boy's now on the back of Nick Lavilla, but John Boy with a heck of a lot of work to do here in this race as he's looking to the inside of Nick Lavilla coming into turn 2. He's going to make that move down the inside, he goes as he just about avoids running into the back of Charlie Goff. Nick's also lost out to the Mutsnuts as well, so the Mutsnuts moves himself through up into 10th place. But wow, absolute drama here in the early stages of this second race of the night. And Nick Lavilla here might be about to lose out to Smoky Devil as well, who's got a run on him coming down the Bentley straight. Down towards Brundle they go. Nick Lavilla's just got a bit of his car on the outside of Smoky. Smoky looking down the inside there through Brundle we go into Nelson. But Smoky there moves himself through back up into 11th place there. Part Pooper attacking on the back of Nick Lavilla right now as they're coming through the bomb hole. But Ollie still leading the race ahead of Mike. Mike though got a much better run out of the final corner, and Mike's going to pick him off with ease here coming down the start finish straight. Can Ollie maybe get a bit of a run, because Ollie seems to have incredible straight line speed here tonight. He's obviously gone for a low downforce kind of setup here, and it seems to be really paying dividends right now. He's looking back down the inside of Mike. You saw Mike get a better exit out of the final corner, but Ollie getting the drag down the straight, back up into the lead once again. And Mike has to tuck in once again there. Mike looking to the inside of Ollie into Montreal, but he's too far back coming into the corner. And Ollie Marr once again taking the lead in this race. Cobb there has got Jay and Amaskill behind him. Jay managing to get back ahead of Amaskill, but they're going to be side by side here. And Amaskill has actually got a better run out coming out onto the Bentley straight, and it's just ahead of Jay. But these two have got Aussie now attacking on them as well, as Jay's getting a bit of a run once again. So he seems to be picking up some speed as they're coming down towards Brundle. Amaskill just ahead of Jay on the inside. Who's going to be coming through this corner first? Amaskill there going a bit wide there onto the grass. Jay there just trying to cover Aussie off here as they're coming through the bomb hole. But Amaskill there very wide, and Jay moving through up into 4th place there. As Aussie now looking down the inside of Amaskill, but can't quite get himself alongside right now. Oh, it's John Moy there getting it loose coming out of the final corner onto the grass a little bit. So Gary and the Mutsnuts moving through a position each. Charlie there has got Smokey looking to his outside as they're coming down the start finish straight once again. And Smokey looking around the outside here of Charlie. Charlie gives him the space, and Smokey gets that one done. Beautiful move there from Smoky Devil up into P10. Really did make the most of the grip around the outside there. Ollie's still running in the lead of the race. Mike is really hassling him, but Ollie's been holding his ground over the course of this race so far. So in the background there, Aussie getting a little bit wrong, getting a bit of a slide there, coming out onto the Bentley straight. The Mutsnuts has got Gary hot on his heels with John Boy right there as well. But Ollie's still ahead of Mike here as they're coming through into Brundle and Nelson here for the 5th time in this race. Oh no, the Mutsnuts has gone wide there coming through Brundle into Nelson. He goes onto the grass. Didn't get it quite as badly wrong as John Boy did on lap 1, but down to 11th place. Speaking of John Boy, he's on the back of Aussie, Albie and Gary right now, looking to try and get himself into P6. These guys just a little bit off of the lead battle, which is currently being led by Mike now is leading the race. So Mike's got ahead of Ollie up into the lead as they're coming down the start finish straight here. So I didn't see where that happened, but Mike is now your new race leader here in race 2. Aussie has got Gary and John Boy side by side. John Boy looking to try and make this move around the outside of Gary. Who is Aussie going to get the slipstream to? Surely be giving it to his teammate John Boy, you would have thought. Has John Boy got anywhere to go? Is he going to have some space around the outside? He goes later on the brakes there than Gary. And does he get it turned in? He just about there. John Boy moves himself through up into 7th place on the back of his teammate. You wouldn't think that Aussie would make this too difficult for him. As Mike's still leading ahead of Ollie. Cobb is coming under, is putting Ollie under some serious pressure right now for 2nd place. So they're saying that actually he's got more pressure from Jay at the moment. Jay is looking to try and get a run here on Cobb as they're coming down towards the Brundle and Nelson. But at the moment, Cobb there still ahead of Jay for the time being. As, Mike there, a bit of a slide there coming through Nelson. Cobb there, a bit of a slide. He's got Jay looking, but Jay can't do anything at the moment. But an exciting first few laps here to the second race of the night. It's Mike still leading ahead of Ollie as they're coming through into Murray's once again. Gary putting out the slipstream here on Aussie Albi. He's got a bit of a run here coming down the start-finish straight. Aussie Albi defending the inside line. Can Gary get it around him here? He's going to have a look, but I think he's not quite alongside him far enough. If you go let on the brakes, he might be able to get it done. No, Aussie covers the inside line and stays ahead for the time being. In the meantime, it's Mike and Ollie still out the front. As Cobb's got Jay attacking, and Amos Kilder was looking on the inside there of Jay, but couldn't quite make it happen at the moment. But John Boy ahead of Aussie and Gary, so Aussie must have let John Boy go. And John Boy there into P6, and he's only 2.5 seconds off of the lead. So John Boy's been flying through the pack since the first lap. He obviously was down in 10th place on the opening lap when he had his moment here coming through this section, coming into Nelson. But he's made really seamless progress as Ollie there wide onto the grass. Coming out of Nelson, he's going to lose a load of places here, I'm sure about that. No, he doesn't. He only loses 1 place there to Jay, who moves through into second. In fact, he loses 2 places there. Oh, he might lose more here because he's wide onto the grass again as he tried to get it going too quickly there. Tried to keep his momentum going. He loses out to Amaskill and John Boy as well. John Boy attacking on the back of Amaskill here. But Jay moves him through up into second place here in this race. He's got a charging pack here behind him. Amaskill, John Boy and Ollie all in hot pursuit right now, with Gary there ahead of Aussie Albi and Smokey Devil. And there is Cobb running in 9th place. The Mutts Nuts there running just ahead of Charlie, Nick and Parp Hooper. Parp Hooper and Nick the Villa side by side here coming into turn 1. But Nick the Villa there moving through. Oh, what's gone on here? What has gone on here? Aussie's facing the wrong way. Thoris seems to have been involved, Smokey as well. So Thoris, Smokey and Aussie having a bit of a collision there coming through turn 1. Didn't really see what happened there. In the meantime, we've got John Boy attacking on the back of Jay. Ollie trying to defend here from Amaskill as these 4 guys got a cluster of cars with Gary on the back of them as well. Let's see, we come through Nelson. Oh no, Amaskill there runs into the side of Ollie. Ollie onto the grass. Oh, careful guys. Wow. This is getting a bit tasty here. But John Boy still in second place at the moment. And this gaggle of cars here battling over second place here in this race. But obviously John Boy now in second place now might be able to start pulling away and potentially bringing the gap down to Mike, who's out the front, currently enjoying himself and looking to try and make it 2 wins from 2 races so far in this season already. Charlie there ahead of Nick the Villa. There's Iceman and Park, who've been right with them, with Doris steering in the background. Seems to be struggling a little bit. Park over there trying to get a bit of a run here on Charlie, getting a much better overspeed there coming out onto the Bentley straight. Should be able to move through up into 11th place here. Cobb really close on the back of Amaskill as these guys coming in towards the bomb hole. See, yeah, he's trying to find a way underneath him at the moment. But Mike Gaming still leading the race by just over 2 seconds ahead of John Boy. Here's Gary trying to get on the back of Jay and Ollie as they're coming down towards turn 1 once again. Jay holding the inside line, Ollie trying to get it around him. Gary there still waiting to pounce as Ollie there wide onto the grass a little bit. Gary's going to move through up into 4th place. Thank you very much, says Gary. As Ollie there's got Amaskill looking down his inside. Amaskill, a little bit of a lunge there going through Montreal, but actually tucks in behind Ollie for the time being. But Ollie won't be too happy with that, I'm pretty sure about that one. Mike in the meantime still leading by just over 2 seconds right now ahead of John Boy, as these guys coming through into Brandon and Nelson again for the 10th time in this race. Jay there stood ahead of Gary. You got Ollie there running in 5th. Amaskill, Cobb, the Mutts Nuts. Iceman there's just ahead of Charlie, Park Pooper and Nick. So much going on here. As we're coming towards the closing part of this second race of the night, and Mike is still out in front. Still doing the business, but John Boy's hunting him down, I'll tell you that. John Boy gained 3/10 on the previous lap. As it stands, 3/10 a lap will not get him the race win though. We've got 5 laps left to go and 1.8 seconds, so he'd fall just short. What was the differential that time? Oh, John Boy gained 6/10 that time around. So if he continues to gain at that rate, he'll be on the back of him with 2 laps left in the race. Jay still defending from Gary, but Gary's got ahead of Ollie and Amaskill as well. So Gary running in 4th place. What a race he's having in this second race. Knocking on the door of a podium place here. Looking to the outside here of Jay. Jay covering the inside line off at the moment. Ollie trying to attack on the back of Gary. Ollie led the opening stage of this race, but then it dropped off in the mid part of the race. Now looking to try and come back at these guys in the final part of the race. He's got a little bit of a run here coming down the Bentley straight. Gary attacking on the back of Jay as well. It's going to be 3 into 1 here coming down towards Brundle. Here goes Ollie. You can see that straight line speed once again ramping up here as he comes down towards Brundle. Looking to the inside there is Ollie. Pushes Jay a little bit wide. Jay takes to the grass. Ollie's got Gary looking back down his inside on the exit of Nelson, but Jay holding on to 3rd place and actually gaining about a second on these guys due to cutting the corner. So that could be a contentious issue. He'd better back up and let these guys back up onto him again. I know he was forced wide, but you've gained a massive advantage there, Jay. You need to relinquish that. You can keep the position, but make sure you don't gain an advantage. That's all. But Ollie's still ahead of Gary, and Gary's lost out to Amaskill and Cobb there. So Gary down to 7th place. Must have had a poor run there coming through the bomb hole. He's now lost out to the Mutts Nuts as well, so Gary losing a load of places there after he was knocking on the door of a podium place a few moments ago. Gap between Mike and John Boy still coming down, 3/10 on that last lap. That will not do it for John Boy though. It might be too little too late for him to get himself into this battle for the win. Oh, as we see 2-wheel action there. Oh no, there's Amaskill there, getting wide, pushing the Mutts Nuts out wide a little bit, and Gary's going to mug both of them there up into P6. As Amaskill here trying to defend the inside here from the Mutts Nuts. They're going to be side by side here coming down towards Brundle. And Mutts Nuts there sneaking around the outside. Oh no, he's gone into the wall. And Mutts Nuts there facing the wrong way. Bit of a collision there between the two of them. Handbags there, and the Mutts Nuts has got front bumper damage. Amaskill managing to continue on his way as if nothing really happened to him. To be fair, got away scot-free with that one pretty much. He's still on the back of Gary, but Mutts Nuts there with big damage. Is that going to affect his ability to stay ahead of Charlie, who's just under 3 seconds behind him? Nick the Villa right on the back of Charlie as well. We've got Iceman with Park Pooper on the back of these guys, so it's a 4-man battle here for 9th place. As we're on to lap 13, John Boy still hunting down Mike, 2/10 on that last lap, but at this rate he's not going to get there in time. But what a night it's been so far for the Clios at Motive. It's great to see the open setups back here. It really has made the racing a little bit more unpredictable, funnily enough. Well, I say unpredictable, I mean it's the same two battling over the wins, but the racing in the sort of podium to mid-pack has been absolutely superb so far. And yeah, long may it continue is all I can say. But Ollie's still just ahead of Jay. You can see these guys coming into the final sector, still battling over the podium places. There's Cobb ahead of Gary. There's Amaskill on the back of these guys. 2.5 seconds covering these 5 drivers here from 3rd down to 7th places. As Mike starts the penultimate lap of this race. Ollie there just ahead of Jay coming into turn 1. You've got Cobb there ahead of Gary, followed by Amaskill. Mutts Nuts there ahead of Charlie. You've got Nick here trying to defend the insides from Iceman coming into turn 1. Iceman looking around the outside. Nick's got it covered. Oh no, Nick's goes wide. As I say that, he goes very wide there, and that's going to give Iceman a position. Iceman moves through up into 10th place. As in the foreground there, you can see that the Mutts Nuts there going to get a bit wrong. Sorry, not Mutts Nuts even. Yeah, it was the Mutts Nuts. He loses out to Charlie. Charlie moves through, and so does Iceman. So Mutts Nuts might lose out to Nick as well here. And Mutts Nuts losing loads of positions here with that damage on his front bumper. Really has struggled in the last part of this race. In the meantime, the gap at the front between Mike and John Boy has come down some more here. Look at this, only 0.6 of a second, and John Boy with his first lap incident losing loads of places down to P10. What a comeback drive it'd be if he can get Mike on this final lap of the race. We're coming out the last corner, about to start the final lap. What can John Boy do here with Mike? He's absolutely flying in the final part of this race. He's flashing his lights, trying to put Mike off a little bit. Jay, Cobb, Ollie and Gary battling out over the podium places. Amaskill not too far off of them, but I think he's out of that battle here as they start the final lap. There are the two leaders coming into turn one for the final time here. Race two, and Mike goes wide onto the grass. Oh, he would have seen his race flashing before his eyes there. That was very, very close. It's given John Boy a little bit more impetus here. He's that little bit closer to the back of Mike as they're coming through the S's for the final time. Can John Boy get a run here, coming down the Bentley straight, and maybe make a move into Brundle, or be able to be close enough to put Mike under sufficient pressure here? Mike trying to weave around, trying to break the toe as much as he can. These two fought out the race win in race one, and once again we're seeing the same thing here with John Boy bearing down on Mike. He's bearing closer and closer and closer in towards Brundle and Nelson we go. He's getting closer and closer to the back of him here, but he can't find a way through. Mike parking his car in the right places. John Boy a bit wide onto the grass, and Mike I think is going to bring it around these final few corners. I can't see him losing the race win now. John Boy's throwing everything at him. What a comeback it's been from P10 at the end of the first lap, but Mike Gaming coming into the final corner just has to hold it together here. Needs to stay off that sausage curb. If he can do that, he's got it in the bag, and here we go. It's going to be Mike Gaming up towards the line here in the second race. It's going to be 2 from 2 so far for our 3-time champion of the Clio Cup, Mike Gaming, your race winner. John Boy comes over to take second place with Jay, who's going to always going to hold on here. Gary's got a bit of a run here on Jay. It's going to be very, very close, but Jay just holds on there for third. Gary comes over to take 4th place ahead of Cobb in 5th, followed by Amaskill in 6th. Ollie takes 7th place ahead of Charlie Goff, who comes over at 8th. Iceman finishes in 9th place. The Mutts Nuts just holds on for 10th place ahead of Nick the Villa, who finishes in 11th place, with Park Pooper over the line to finish this one in P12. Great finish from those three. Photo finish from those boys. Aussie Albie's going to come around to take a 13th place here in the end. Not the race in the second race here for Aussie Albie, I'm sure about that. So he'll be disappointed, but it's still plenty of races in this season. Still time for him to get things underway. Smoky Devil here coming up towards the line. It's going to be 14th place here for him. And Doris Steer over the line to take 15th place in the second race of the night. But that is that for the second race. Mike, John Boy and Jay taking your podium places here at Snetterton for race 2 of the first round of the season. We've got one more race coming up tonight, which will be a reverse grid based on the results from this one. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be back in a few moments' time for that one. Who's left? Someone's left. Yeah. Oh, it's Mutts. Yeah. I'll send him an invite. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Fair play. Some things never change. Well, he's a reserve, so I can't really blame him. Okay, right. So it's gonna. Right, yes, so it's gonna be Thoris P1, Smokey P2, Aussie P3, Pop P4, Nick P5, Iceman P6 because Mike isn't here, Charlie P7, Ollie P8, Amaskill P9, Cobb P10, Gary P11, Jay P12, John Boy P13, Mike P14. It's going to be 5-minute practice. It's alright, you're in luck because it's a practice. Yeah, Ozzy, I wasn't gonna sit there and pin my hopes on everybody because no one's gonna take. I just thought that. Yeah, I know, it only takes one person not to do it. The whole thing to go. Jolly Jungle to restart this game. Music? What music? I wasn't playing any. There wasn't any music. No. Nope. Definitely not. Really? Let me have a listen. Oh. Oh, that's the Project Cars 2 music. Yeah. It doesn't usually come on. Yeah, that's the interface. That's the menu music. Yeah. It's quite a peaceful kind of like relaxing little tune. Yeah. That's the exact right word. It's beautiful. I think there's 12 of us here. Yeah, I know, mate. It's just because I see I read what I see. If you see what I mean. It just comes out. I have no control over what my brain and my mouth just connect and just say whatever I see in front of me. I just sent everyone one again, sorry. I was sending them all out. Yeah, Thor and Ollie aren't getting my invites for some reason, I don't know why. It's Thor, we need Thor. Right, let's make a party, right, let's make a party. Start the party so that we don't have to do practice. Alright, fuck it then. Practice.
It's doable. I've just done a 17 story, like it's doable.
I got to do a 13s.
I'd just like to
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time tonight. We are moments away from going racing here for the Clio Cup race 3 of the night here at Snetterton. Just double checking we've got the right mic on. Yep, we got the right mic plugged in. We are ready to go. We got Thorister leading us around for this formation lap. He'll be the pole man to get us underway for the final time this evening. He's leading ahead of Part Pooper Rex with Aussie Albie just behind him and Smoky Devil. What can Nick the Villa do from P5 here in this final race of the night? Iceman as well in a good position. Ollie Marr, I'll tell you what, we've got to watch out for him because he had scorching pace in the first part of the second race, and he'll be starting from P8, so he'll get a much better passage than drivers down the order like Jay, John Boy and Mike. But it looks like we're underway for this final race of the night. Part Pooper already attacking on the back of Doris Steer, coming down towards turn 1, too far back coming into the corner. You've got Aussie ahead of Smokey, followed by Nick, who's looking up the inside of Smokey, coming out of turn 1. As you can see, Aussie getting a little bit onto the grass there, trying to attack on Smoky Devil. But Doris leading ahead of Part Pooper right now. Smokey's got Aussie looking down his inside into Montreal, and he gets that done there. Aussie Albie up into third place, as Nick there trying to get onto the back of Smokey as well, as they got Iceman right behind them as well as Charlie. So there are lots of cars packed into a short space here. You've got Amos Kill there ahead of Ollie Marr, followed by Cobb, and then we've got 3 wide in the background here between Gary, John Boy and Jay. As you can see there, that's Gary just ahead down the middle, John Boy looking down the inside, but he's not going to make a move there. He thinks better that way. It's the first lap, for goodness sake, and don't make the move there. Mike just behind these guys right now, 4 seconds covering the entire pack at this point. But looks like we've all got through Nelson unscathed by the looks of it, which is quite a feat on the first lap with cold tyres. Jay seems to have got it all wrong there coming on the exit of Nelson, so he's dropped down to 14th place there. Not a great moment for him, but Doris Steer ahead of Part Pooper as they come through the bomb hole for the first time at racing speeds in this final race of the night. And you can see there Part Pooper and Aussie right behind him there. There's Smokey ahead of Nick, followed by Charlie. You've got the rest of the pack all coming through your shot there, coming out of the final corner. 5 seconds covering all 14 drivers as we're coming over the line here to start lap 3. Part Pooper's got a good run here on Doris Steer, but he's way too far back to even think about a move there coming into turn 1. In the meantime, we've got Nick the Villa looking up the inside here of Smokey. Gets a little bit wrong onto the curb though. That might leave him vulnerable here to Charlie. Oh no, as Smokey there loses it coming out of turn 1, and he causes a massive pile up there. Cobb is onto the grass. Who else has got caught up in that? Charlie Goff seems to have got caught up in that. So Cobb and Charlie Goff caught up in Smokey's little incident there. Massively unfortunate there for those guys. In the meantime, Doris needs ahead of Part Pooper and Aussie. Nick, Ollie and Iceman battling over 4th, 5th and 6th places here, as Mike and John Boy are battling over P7 and 8. The 2 guys who battled it out over the win in the first and second races of the night are currently running in the mid-pack, so they've made quite decent progress throughout the course of this race so far. Ollie's got ahead of Iceman, as you can see. That is Nick there going wide onto the grass, and Ollie moves through up into 4th place. Now Iceman will be looking to try and follow him through as well here. But in the background there, you've got Jay, who's looking to be, who seems to have been pushed out a little bit there by John Boy. John Boy there was behind Mike before. Mike's still ahead of him there. You can see Mike is just behind Iceman at this point. So they're all kind of in a bit of a train here. They're all in a bit of a queue. But Iceman here's got a bit of a run on Nick the Villa coming out onto the start-finish straight, and Nick the Villa might be a bit swamped here. I think he's going to have a load of drivers on him coming into turn 1. Didn't get a great run out of the final corner. As there we go. That's oh no! What's going on there, John Boy? John Boy, did he get checked there? Did he get checked on the brakes? I'm not sure. He's gone onto the wall. So John Boy down to P10 at the moment, and he's losing more places, I think, as it stands. But in the meantime, Iceman's got Nick and Mike on the back of him here. But Mike is currently knocking on the door of a P5. He's got Iceman and Nick in his way of a P5 at this point in the race. But his big rival John Boy there down in P12 after having that big mistake there coming through turn 1. I don't know if he got tagged in the rear or whether he got brake checked, but nonetheless he's way down the order here, and he's got more work to do in this race than he did in the second race. And bear in mind, he was down in P10 in the second race, so it's gone even worse here in this one. He's further behind in terms of the time differential. But saying that, I mean, he's about 4.5 seconds, 5 seconds behind Mike at this point. But Thoris Steer, Aussie and Part Pooper here. Yes, 1, 2, 3 coming into the final corner here, about to complete lap 4 of the race. And we've got a change for the lead here as Aussie Albie's making a move down the inside of Doris Steer coming into turn 1. So Aussie Albie there moving through up into the lead. Park Poopy now looking down the inside of Doris Steer as well as he's almost tapping Aussie Albie in the rear there. Oh, and Aussie goes off onto the grass. Oh no, Aussie Albie with a huge mistake there. Losing loads of places there. Doris Steer moves up into the lead. Ollie there in second place ahead of Park Pooper. But what a shame there for Aussie Albie. He's now down in 9th place in this race. So that's gone absolutely peak tongue there for him. Ollie now on the back of Doris. I said Ollie could be a big shout for a race win here in his final race of the night. He's currently in second place, and but he has got Mike only 3 places behind him and less than a second behind him on the road as well. But Part Pooper and Iceman still on the back of Ollie there. And who's gone wide there? Somebody's gone ever so wide. Part Pooper that is, who's off onto the grass there coming out of Nelson. And he'll be losing loads of places, I'm sure about that. Ollie is right on the back of Doris Steer in this battle for the lead as they're coming through the bomb hole in towards the final section of this lap. Can Ollie get a good run here coming out of the final corner if he can? He might be able to take the lead here coming over the line when they start lap 6 of the race. Doris Steer a little bit wide there coming out of the final corner. Ollie Marr gets a much better run. He's got that straight line speed. We know about that. Iceman there is on the back of him though. He'll be bringing him along with him here. But Ollie is going to make the move for the lead of the race as we're coming over the line here to start lap 6 of the race. It's Ollie Marr who leads us in this final race of the night. But Iceman and Mike are attacking on the back of him here as Iceman looking down the outside, should I say, and Iceman gives him a bit of a tap there, and Iceman and Doris Steer coming together, and Iceman onto the grass. Oh, and they're both off, and Iceman is into the wall. He'll have damage on the front of the car, and Iceman also, Doris should I say, losing places. Iceman's rage quit from the race. And Ollie leads the race ahead of Mike, so it's the same top 2 that were in the top 2 this time in the second race. But obviously Ollie will be hoping that this time he doesn't have a capitulation in his final race of the night. He currently leads this race here at Snetterton for the final race of the night. But Mike pressuring him here as they're coming through Nelson. And there's Gary ahead of Nick, followed by John Boy, as Park Pooper seems to be struggling through there. Every lap he seems to be having problems. He's got Jay not too far behind him. There's Charlie ahead of Cobb, followed by Smokey. Amaskill there wide coming out of Nelson, but keeping it together. There's Aussie ahead of Doris. Doris is now running in 13th place. He is 16 seconds off for the leader, so it could not have gone much worse there for Doris Steer. But it's Mike currently leading this race by just under half a second right now ahead of Ollie Marr. As we're coming over the line here to complete lap 6. There's Gary ahead of Nick. You've got John Boy who's pulling out the slipstream now and looking to the inside here on Nick the Villa. And what is going to happen here between these guys? As you can see there, John Boy moving through up into 4th place. Beautifully done there from him. You got Charlie Goff here looking down the inside of Jay into turn 2. Surely that's going to be job done. Yes, it is. As you can see here, 4 cars currently separated by less than a second. 7th down to a 10th place here. Charlie, Jay, Cobb and Smokey. But they're well off of everybody else. I can hear Ray's voices there in the game chat. I can hear Jay's voice going off. I'm not quite sure what's happened here. But Cobb here looking to the inside, coming into Brundle. Jay goes a little bit wide onto the grass, and he'll lose out to Cobb and Smokey there. They both move through up into 8th and 9th respectively, and Jay's rage quit. And Jay's left. He's left the session. So he's not happy about something there by the looks of it. He did actually make that mistake. He went wide himself there, coming through Brundle. So he's now out of the race here in this final race of the night. Mike and Ollie still separated by half a second at the moment as they're coming down towards turn 1 once again. John Boy there running in 3rd place. You got Gary there sat in 4th, who's just ahead of Nick the Villa and Park Pooper. But an interesting final race of the night. I'm not quite sure what happened there with Jay, but I could definitely hear some kind of raised voices there in the game chat. I could hear Jay's voice. My headphones are sat about a metre away from me, so I'm not hearing everything, but I could hear Jay's voice really loudly. So I think something's gone off. I'm not sure what. As Nick the Villa's got a bit of a run here on Gary coming down towards the end of the Bentley straight, but he's just a little bit too far back at the moment. Oh, is Gary there going to get horribly wrong, and Nick following him in the same trajectory there. Both of those two spinning off. Park Pooper's going to come through and get ahead of Nick, but Gary's already going again. Park Pooper's not going to get ahead of Gary there. But Nick's going to lose out here to Charlie Goff, who moves through up into 6th place, and Cobb also following him through as well. So Nick down to 8th place in that little debacle. Mike still leading ahead of Ollie as they're coming over the line here to complete lap 8. We're halfway through the final race of the night here for the Clio Cup at Motive. As Cobb's got a bit of a run here on Charlie Goff coming down the start finish straight, looking to the inside here, coming down towards turn 1. And is Cobb going to get that one done here? He is going to get that move done up into P6. Oh, and Charlie gets a tap there from the rear. Was it Smokey or Nick that hit him? I'm not sure. Nick there onto the grass, takes out the braking marker, almost goes, well, he just seemed to be in a bit of a strange trajectory there, but there's been absolute chaos there. I don't think it was Smokey, I think it was Nick there that lost it and went into Charlie. And Nick there is going to be letting these guys pass, so sportsman-like there, he's obviously owning up to his mistake there and letting them back through. Charlie there is going to be, looks like he's pulling over and letting Ozzy through. Obviously Charlie with damage, Ozzy's got a healthy car, so Ozzy there moving through up into 7th place. Mike is now in the lead of the race, so he's now ahead of Ollie, so he's made that move. I'm not sure where. Had he already made that move? Had I just not noticed it maybe? I don't know. Let's look at the timing board and see. That'll tell us whether or not Mike was leading at the beginning of the previous lap. Mike an 18.0, Ollie an 18.0. So yeah, Mike's been leading for some time. And I probably have already mentioned it, but just hadn't really clocked that they'd had a change between them. But Mike is your race leader here ahead of Ollie. Ollie's still keeping the pressure on him at the moment. There's John Boy running 4.5 seconds off for the lead, but he's currently lapping a little bit off for the pace of the top 2. Park Hooper there running in 4th place. Has got Gary trying to bear him down, but Gary was actually slower than Park Hooper on that previous lap. Charlie and Nick both in the pits at the end of lap 9. And Ollie, I tell you what, has got a run here on Mike coming up towards Brundle. Can he keep it around the outside? Mike gearing a little bit later on the brakes, getting it turned in. Does he go deep coming into Nelson? Oh, they both hit the sausage curb there. Mike hitting the sausage curb, but Ollie doing the same thing, but Ollie didn't hit it quite as badly, and he's got a bit of a run here coming through the bomb hole, and Ollie moves through up into the lead once again. These two continuing to have a great battle in the final race of the night, and Ollie Marr could potentially be the man to stop Mike Gaming from taking 3 out of 3 tonight. He hits the front as they're coming into the final corner, as he gets a massive slide there. There's Ollie coming out of the last corner. That's going to give Mike the run here, and Mike will retake the lead as they're coming over the line here, about to complete lap 10 of the race. So Ollie with a bit of a mistake, throwing the race lead away again, and Mike there moving back onto his racing line as they're coming into turn 1. Is Ollie going to look to try and send it coming into the hairpin? I think he's just a little bit too far away, and Mike here will hold on coming through this sequence. But these two giving it absolutely everything in the final race of tonight. As we've got 8 of you currently watching the streams, guys, smash the like button if you're enjoying the battle. Show your appreciation for these two. What a show they're putting on, as it's going to go down to the final few laps here of the final race of the night. Ollie's got a fantastic run here coming down the Bentley straight. Mike here defending the inside line. Here we go. Ollie looking to the outside, coming up towards Brundle. He's not quite ahead as they're coming into the braking zone. Mike there covers the inside line, gets it nicely turned in. Now, is he going to hit the sausage curb? No, they both stay off the sausage curb this time. Both keeping it nice and clean there, coming out of Nelson. Through they come, through the bomb hole they come. And once again, it's Mike who just has the edge over Ollie by the skin of his teeth. 9 of you currently watching the stream. Who is going to win this race between these two? I tell you what, whilst these two battle, it's bringing John Boy closer. He's only 2.5 seconds off for the lead now. So John Boy making the most of these two, scrapping it out. As we're about to start lap 12 of the race, we've got 5 laps left to go here at Snetterton. John Boy there running in 3rd place. He's about to put a lap here on Charlie Goff. So you can see there a car just coming out of the pits. That's Charlie there. So in fact, yeah. So Charlie was that one coming out of the pits. It was Smokey Devil who's in front of those guys. But Mike still has the lead by the slenderest of margins here over Ollie. We know Ollie has the top end speed, but Mike there getting a good run coming out of the S's, and that will give him the breathing space that he needs here, coming down the Bentley straight once again. So here we come. We've got 4.5 laps or 4 and a bit laps left here at Snetterton for the Clio Cup, the opening round of season 14. Mike getting a big slide there, but getting away with it just about. He did really well to counter that. I tell you what, it looked like he was losing it, but he managed to recover it very nicely indeed. Mike was 0.3 quicker than Ollie on the previous lap. I think this time around he was a little bit quicker than that as well. So he's gaining a little bit more here. He's currently doing enough right now with Mike Gaming. These two have actually kept the gap to John Boy over the course of this lap. In the last couple of laps, John Boy was closing in, but this time around they've kept the gap to him more or less the same here. But here they come, the two leaders coming over to start lap 13 of the race. 4 to go. Mike doing his personal best there, a 17.8. And the gap, the best part of a second here between those two. John Boy in the low 18s, running a tenth quicker than Ollie on that previous lap, but he's not gaining by enough to be on the back of these guys. By the time we get to the end of this race, Mike Gaming, or Ollie Mike as he's now known, has the lead of the race here. And he seems to have pulled out a bit here to Ollie coming through the first sector. This is the part of the track where Ollie has the pace, but Mike seems to have the gap enough at the moment. And he just needs to keep it cool here, really, for the last three laps of the race. And he should have this win in the bag, and it'll be 3 out of 3. I know I'm going to do the bins after this. What? Yeah, I said I'll do them after this. Sorry, so Mike here still leading by 0.8 of a second. You can see Ollie bearing down on him here. These guys are just under 3 seconds clear of John Boy as we're about to start lap 14 of the race. So just under a second here between Mike and Ollie as they come into turn 1. There's John Boy running in third. You've got Hart Pooper and Gary still battling out over 4th and 5th places right now. They've got a few seconds back to Ozzy, who's a couple of seconds ahead of Cobb at the moment. So Mike's just extending the gap a little bit more to Ollie coming to the final sector there. It's now best part of a second. Ollie, obviously, we've seen time and time again, has got the pace down the straights, but he's too far. He's way too far back to really be putting Mike under any sort of serious pressure here. John Boy running in the background is still there if these two make a mistake or if they come together, but Ollie's not really close enough to force any kind of incident between these two. Mike has got enough in hand here, I think. Once again gets a good run coming out of the S's, and Ollie will gain coming down the Bentley straight once again, but he's just not close enough to really be causing Mike any sort of stress here at this point. Gap just dips under 0.9 of a second as they're coming down to the end of the Bentley straight, but Ollie would need to nail this part of the lap if he's to have any chance. There goes Mike, through Nelson we go. A few corners to go here on lap 15. We are about to start the final lap of the race, and Ollie, I tell you what, has got a good run coming through this part of the track. He's a 10th up on his personal best here. Gap almost just coming under. It's now just about 0.7 of a second between Mike and Ollie. If Ollie can get a good run here coming out the final corner, he may set himself with a maybe a slim chance of taking this win. Gap under a second here as they're coming out onto the start-finish straight. Ollie in that slipstream there. He's going to be using it as much as he possibly can with that straight line speed advantage that he's got. He does his personal best there, but Mike a 17.7 as well. They're both doing their quickest laps of the race here, but Mike currently has the advantage, looking on course to take 3 from 3 here tonight at Snetterton. What a night he has had here, our 3-time champion, starting off his pursuit of a 4th title in the best possible way. as we come out of the S's once again, and Mike has got just over a second here to Ollie, and I can't see Ollie bridging that gap down with only half an hour left in this race. I think Mike has got this one in hand. In the meantime, Ozzy's pulled up onto the back of Gary. You can see those two running quite close in the battle for 5th place. But here we come, Mike just ahead of Ollie here as we're coming into the bomb hole for the final time. And it's going to be Mike Gaming who will take his 3rd win of the night here at Snetterton. He's driven absolutely fantastically. He's not had it easy in any of the races tonight. He had battles with John Boy in race 1 and 2. An exciting battle here with Ollie, which he's come out on top with as well. It's going to be Mike Gaming who takes a perfect night here at Snetterton to start off season 14. Mike Gaming takes the win ahead of Ollie in 2nd. John Boy completing the podium there in 3rd place. Not a bad night for him. 2 seconds and a 3rd after a few incidents here and there. So, you know, if that's a bad night for John Boy, I'm sure he'll take that one. Ozzy here coming out of the final corner is going to hold off Park Pooper, I think, as they're coming up towards the line. He is indeed. So Ozzy's going to come home to take 4th place with Park Pooper over in P5. Gary's going to take 6th place here in the end, just a few seconds clear of Cobb, who will come over in 7th place. Amos Kills coming into the final corner here into Murray's. He's going to bring home 8th place as he gets onto power, and up towards the line he comes. So Amos Kill there over to take P8 here in this one. Doris Steer is going to come around to take 9th place here in the end. Nick de Villa coming up towards the line. It's going to be a P10 here for Nick de Villa. Not a great night for him, gotta say. It's not really gone to plan at all for Nick de Villa, and he's actually the last driver on the lead lap here. So obviously we lost a couple of drivers along the way here in this final race of the night. So it was Smokey finished in 11th and Charlie in 12th. But that is that, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap here for tonight for the Clio Cup. If you did enjoy, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you're watching for the first time. We're back tomorrow night on the channel on ACC for the PlayStation 5 GT3 Sprint League, which will be at 8 PM UK time. We'll also be back on Project Cars 2 on Thursday night for the Touring Car Championship, which will be at Snetterton again. So tune in for that. That'll be same time as we were live tonight, but on Thursday. F1 will be back on Friday night as well. We'll have the Porsche Cup on Saturdays, and Sunday we'll have the GT3 Championship on ACC back, the main GT3 Championship with both tiers for that. And yeah, back for the Clio Cup next Tuesday. So thanks everybody once again, and yeah, we'll see you very soon. Take it easy and good night.